No, Donald Trump did not overturn the Equal Opportunity Employment Act. Let's talk about what he actually did, what it means for you, and how it can affect you in real life. My name is Majorian Lowe. I'm a civil rights lawyer. This is not legal advice, and my views represent my own, not my employers. But I just wanted to add that in there. And while this is not my sole area of expertise, I do read laws for a living, so I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. So the Equal Opportunity Employment Act of 1972 is a law passed by that Congress and signed into law by President Richard Nixon, which expands on the 1964 Civil Rights Act passed by that Congress and President Lyndon Baines Johnson, which basically said that people cannot discriminate in employment practices in the country. Presidents, no matter what their party or affiliation, do not have the sole power to overturn laws. That's reserved for Congress to write a law, reversing the law, or the Supreme Court saying that a law is unconstitutional. Presidents do have the power to issue executive orders that make non-enforcement or non-compliance of a law an issue. But let's talk about what I think is giving people concern or confusing folks. So what Donald Trump did was rescind Executive Order 1126-246, which is an LBJ executive order that said that the federal government cannot discriminate against Black people, minoritized people in this country when hiring for federal contract jobs or hiring for federal workers. Now this is important because the federal workforce is largely made up of Black people and minoritized people in this country. So Donald Trump and the executive department does have discretion over who's hired and fired as it relates to federal workers, especially political appointments, but also they're trying to do a lot of reworking as it relates to the civil service, which are largely a Black workforce, the federal workforce in the United States. So there's more issues to come down the line with that. So here's the actual language of the executive order, and what I was talking about, the LBJ order is under item BB1, Executive Order 11246, but he also revoked Executive Order 1292898, which was the Bill Clinton executive order, which basically was doing some work as it relates to Black people and minoritized people in this country being subjected to toxic waste and things that are harmful in their direct neighborhoods, right? What this order does not do, though, is make discrimination in the workplace legal. The Equal Opportunity Employment Act is still the law of the land. The EEOC is still a commission and is still an executive agency, so they still have to comply with the law. The only way that that becomes not law is if Congress decides for it to go away. You cannot just close or get rid of entire laws because you don't think that they are in compliance or in conjunction with your administration's goals. Now, what this can mean, though, is that the Justice Department can choose not to advance certain cases. The Justice Department can choose not to deal with certain issues if they're seeing trends or if they're seeing things. They can say, look the other way, essentially, or say they don't want to prosecute it. But what will likely happen is that in places of workplace discrimination, people are still going to sue, right? And people are still going to file claims and still going to raise issues. And people may even sue over this executive order that is attempting to rescind these things. Anything that's not a pure executive action will probably be fought in court. But people can still file discrimination claims in workplaces. You can still file discrimination claims in hiring. And the law that will be enforced is the law that is still the law, the Equal Opportunity Employment Act, right? You can file a claim with EEOC still and alleged workplace discrimination. That has to be, people have to comply with that. That is the law of the land. Courts will uphold it. The commission will still do its job, but that is what it is. So no, he didn't overturn the Equal Opportunity Employment Act. He doesn't have the power to do so. Saying that and creating videos, repeating that is disinformation, and it's doing more harm than good for the sake of a laugh.